How do you actually get a whale client? That's the dream, right? You find the biggest client and they pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're golden. Well, I only work with whale clients. And so let me explain to you the good part, how to get them, the complexities of working with them, and how I'm trying to scale still only working with whale clients. So I do it for a social media marketing company, mainly YouTube, and we're in charge of growing the channels and then helping them monetize to their back-end business, and then any other avenue there is. But we do a 100% tailorized, hands-on approach where we will personalize everything that we're doing for the clients to make their lives easier, because they are whales. That's what you have to do, and to make their lives easier, because my goal is to where every single one of these people spend an hour per week, and then they can get millions and millions of views per month directly with the intent of trying to funnel to their business without them having to worry about it. So we take the entire organic marketing department for their businesses. So how do you get a whale client? It's not going to happen if you're just starting out in reality. It's just not. Because every single one of these people, they are going to want to see who you've worked with before. And I'll use a real example right now. One of my clients, Robert Kiyosaki, I've known Robert and been friends with him for quite a while, since probably for 3 or 4 years, because I originally started working for this guy, George Gammon, who was very good friends with Robert, and we would occasionally not go out together, but I went to different dinners where he was at. I went to his house for an event that he was having. I was doing a bunch of different things where I probably met him like 5 times. And every single time I met him, he said, "Hey, nice to meet you." And he never would have even considered giving me the time of day. Now, he runs up to me and hugs me when he sees me, and we start businesses together, and we're doing all these other things. What is the transitional period? One, you need multiple touch points. You're not going to close him just instantly when you're talking to him, because those whale clients that are already super famous, they always have their guard up because everyone wants something from them. This is 100% real. Robert can't even take a piss in public without getting recognized because he's such a big name. I had multiple touch points with Robert where we were just talking different things. And then what really changed it is I went on a private jet with Robert and another one of my clients, Ken, who is also a whale client. Ken McElroy has a 10,000 unit real estate portfolio. And we were flying to an event and Robert was going to come with us. And I was gonna make some videos with Robert and Ken, but I just do what I always do, where I was telling Ken what to say, I was directing it, and Ken was just like, "Dude, Robert, just listen to whatever Josh says and it's gonna crush." And then we made some videos and they ended up getting a few million views and made a lot of money for Ken's business. And at the end of that plane ride, Robert was much more interested in talking to me. We were talking a little bit and he was saying, "Oh, what do you work with? What does the splits look like? What do you structure in?" And I was like, yeah, I kind of shrugged him off. And what I'm about to tell you seems so counterintuitive to what you guys want to do, but it is actually true. How you handle super successful and wealthy people is the same way you would want to handle a 10 out of 10 smoking hot chick. And the reason for that is, what do 10 out of 10 smoking hot chicks get? Every single fucking thing they want on earth. Everybody just hands over fists, just beta orbits around them, where they are going to get everything they want. People are gonna laugh at their unfunny jokes. People are going to suck up to them. That exact same thing happens. I've been at dinners with Robert or Ken or other people where their employees or people around them are laughing at their unfunny jokes, and they're treating them superior to other people because they usually want to take from what they have. And so you have to treat them like a normal human. So what I did is, the first time Robert talked about working, is I turned him down. Probably the first person in the world to ever do that. Not the first person, but it would be the same way if a 10 out of 10 chick approaches you who've never been turned down in their entire life. You turn them down. What's that going to do psychologically? It is going to make them want you substantially more. The real reason why I turned him down, I told him, is because I didn't have capacity. I said, I only want to scale when I know that I can show you the best results in the entire world. And I don't think, I honestly forget what I said now, but I said something along those lines. And I was moving back to Colombia for the summertime. Robert and I, we live in Arizona right now, but I left for the summer because it gets hot as shit. And so let's fast forward 3 months. The summer was ending. I knew that I would be moving back to Arizona, and I was going to go speak at a conference, which was Ken's event, and Robert was going to be there. So we had all these touch points. I had already turned him down, and we were both going to go speak at a conference. When I got there, we were at a mastermind beforehand. And this is honestly, I remember this moment so vividly, where it was early in the morning. I was shit tired. And Robert sees me and his eyes light up. And he comes up and runs and gives me a hug and said, "Your ears must have been falling off last night." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "With the amount of talking that we were doing about you at dinner, you probably couldn't think of anything else." Because he was at dinner with Ken, and then the smartest business guy I've ever met in my entire life. And I've talked about him on my channel before. He used to run a NASDAQ company, but I'm not allowed to talk about who he is. So I'm good friends with that guy. I'm really good friends with Ken, and they were talking about how much I've just crushed it because goodwill spreads incredible. The thing is, I'm never trying to do a hard sell on someone like this. I'm just letting my environment close them for me. So Robert says flat out, "What do we have to do to work together? I'm all ears." And then I have the audacity to give him some demands, and not monetary demands, more so to make sure that this is a partnership where I said, "Robert, I know you're super busy. This cannot work if I don't have at least an hour or two of your time per week." And he said, "Done. Whatever you need, I will make sure it gets done." And he gives me his personal cell phone number and he says, "You call me and my assistant. She's gonna handle everything, whatever you need." And then after that, we went through negotiation processes with this company, which is always going to happen with whale clients. You can close the CEO, which I always do. I only work directly with the founders, but I can guarantee you a lot of the negotiations are done with their team, with their fucking lawyers, signing contracts. That's a long process. But then if you do incredible and you make your clients' lives easier and you produce them substantial results, the main thing there is make their life easier. The word is going to spread like wildfire. And now Robert's telling all of his friends. So it's really letting other people sell for you. And I actually never hard sell people ever, just because I genuinely think that I solve a humongous problem that most of these people have. And if I couldn't solve their problem, then I wouldn't want to work with them, because I work mainly performance-based. And so because our incentives are aligned and everything, it makes it super, super, super easy to get sales. Actually managing whale clients is a little bit challenging because, again, my goal is to make their lives as easy as possible and as stress-free. So sometimes that means that we have to handle the stress of their personality types, but hey, I'm okay with that. I don't think I did a great job of answering because most people aren't gonna have a client that has whale friends either. But the way I got all my clients was honestly just providing so much value for so long, and then gaining skills, and then knowing when I could solve a problem for someone and begging to solve that problem for free for whatever these businesses. That's how I started working for Ken. I was developing a skill and I wanted to work with him to learn how to run a business because he runs a multi 300 person business. And I had a problem that I could solve for him. And I said, "Dude, mutual exchange. I'll help you for basically nothing," which was like the slimmest performance-based model of all time. "And you're gonna help me scale." And done. That's what happened. I crushed it with him, and then he told all of his friends. So if you're super young, prioritizing short-term income is usually going to fuck you in the long run. I easily, 2-3 years ago, could have done a few months where I was making over $100,000, but I probably would have lost everything and not been able to maintain the hyper quality and the great relationships and the reputation that I have. And so I've always prioritized as my long-term reputation over making short-term income, and maybe that's the right answer, maybe not, but now we're trying to scale like motherfuckers. So we'll see. Gonna go rip some coffee on this fine Sunday, just get after it.